What's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of Life in English. I'm your host, Tony Kazin. And in this episode, we are talking about the importance of your eyes and your ears.
Our eyes and our ears are the gateway into our soul. What we're looking at and what we're listening to gets into our heart. And whatever gets into our heart will come out of our mouth. And whatever comes out of our mouth is going to come to pass because our words are so powerful. What are we feeding ourselves?
Right.
Our heart has been designed by God to be a manufacturing center of whatever seeds we plant in it. We have to stop trying to take control of what comes out of our heart. We have to take control of what goes into our heart.
That's really good.
Because then what comes out of our heart is just going to be the harvest of whatever we allow in our heart.
And I really appreciated this video because I think it's something we don't consider enough. All of us are constantly in contact with a smartphone, a computer, a TV, a book, or a magazine. You also have people around you talking about all kinds of different things. We're constantly taking in information, constantly consuming. Now, just like we need to watch what we consume in terms of food and drinks, we need to be very aware of the information we choose to consume as well. If I eat nothing but pizza and ice cream and I drink nothing but soda and vodka for the next 10 years, I'm going to have a serious health problem. If I eat nothing but fruits and vegetables and lean meats and I drink nothing but water for the next 10 years, I'll probably be in good shape. So think about your mind. It's the most important organ in your body. The problem a lot of people have is they think of themselves and their minds as if they were the same thing. However, I'm of the opinion that you are not your mind. Just like a father is not his son and a mother is not her daughter. If a child is neglected or allowed to do whatever he wants, eat and drink whatever he wants, watch whatever he wants, and go wherever he wants all the time, there's a good chance that the child will grow up to be a dysfunctional, unproductive member of society. Why? Because children have no self-control. They just want to be happy and do what feels good. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be happy and feel good, but I hope you can agree with me when I say that the desire to indulge in pleasure must be balanced with self-control and discipline. Children need discipline, and without that discipline, a child will eat candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A child will play video games for 11 hours straight. A child will find his way onto a website that's meant for adults only. A child will get into a car with a stranger because he's nice and promises her candy. That is why we must teach, discipline, and protect our children. They're fragile human beings and they learn very quickly. And that's why we are very careful about where we let them go and what we let them do until they're old enough and educated enough to make reasonable decisions without help from others. Well, the same should be true for your mind. Now, if you're my age or younger, your parents probably didn't do a great job of teaching you how to manage your mind, control yourself, or plan for the future. Now, I say that because it's true for the vast majority of the people I meet that are my age or younger, including myself. It just seems like after our parents were raised in such difficult, poor, underprivileged environments and times, they decided they didn't want their children to have to experience that, so they gave their children everything and let them do whatever they wanted. The problem with that is we have a lot more access to the world and everything in it, much more than our parents and our grandparents had. Now, although this is an incredible advantage for us if we apply it properly, I also think that we're not really meant to know what's going on in the world all day, every day. I don't think we're meant to be consuming endless streams of information all the time, especially when the information that the majority of people consume is of such low quality or completely false and harmful altogether. And there are two problems here. Number one, if you have too much of it, it becomes less valuable. And this is true for everything, not just content. And it's especially true when something is just given to you and you don't have to work for it. Like when you have 2 weeks to study for an exam, what do? You spend 13 days doing whatever the fuck you want to do, wasting time. You're on your phone talking to people, just chilling. And then the night before the exam, you're trying to study, cram all that information into your brain, hoping that you can remember the next day and pass the exam because you have 2 weeks to complete one task, which is study. Or at least that's the way you think about it. So, the time is not valuable to you. You have too much of it. It's only when you don't have enough time that every moment becomes valuable. And then you try to cram 2 weeks of studying into 2 hours. You see? Or when people have more money than they can spend, what do most people do? They start to spend it on useless, meaningless bullshit just because they can. If I've got hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, what is the value of $1? Now, obviously, there is value. It just depends on how you think about it. But hopefully you can understand my example. If I have too much money, more than I can spend in a lifetime, why would I give a fuck about $5, $20, $100? I have millions. So one just isn't as valuable because I have millions of them, you know? Or when somebody has too many different options for a boyfriend or a girlfriend, how do they treat people? Like just another option, right? I don't give a fuck about you. I got 8 more girls on my line trying to talk to me. I don't give a fuck about you. I got 15 guys trying to get with me. So who are you? Just another option. I don't value you because there's 15 more of you. I have too many options. So why would I care about just one? Right? If you know there are hundreds of people making the same type of free content, how much would you voluntarily pay to watch the content? Most likely you wouldn't, because there's so much free shit out there for you to watch, right? Hundreds of English teachers out there for you to watch making content, videos, podcasts, whatever. Why would you pay for one when you could go consume all the free stuff? You probably wouldn't. It would have to be a very, very special teacher or type of content or video or podcast. It would have to be extremely more valuable than all the free stuff that you have at your disposal all day, every day, you know? Simple economics, supply and demand, right? When there's too much of it, any individual piece of it is just less valuable because there's so much. There's so much. So the value drops. Simple supply and demand. Now, problem number 2, when you never take a break from it, you don't have time to consider it. Have you ever noticed that when you're scrolling on social media, you can watch 50 videos in less than 30 minutes and you won't remember 29 of them? Video after video after video. It's just an endless stream of content. And as soon as you finish one video, you immediately scroll on to the next one. You probably never take the time to process the content you're consuming. You're just injecting thought after thought after thought, video after video, and picture after picture into your brain, but you're not really thinking about any of it. The information still enters your mind, but you never form your own opinion about any of it. It's like eating food and not digesting it. It goes in one end and out the other, and none of the nutrients are absorbed. So you're walking around with a bunch of other people's thoughts and you have none of your own. You're walking around with all these ideas and all this information, but you don't even know what you really think about any of it or what you really believe. And one of the best things about this digital age is the access to the millions of different people and ideas. But if you never take a break from the endless stream of content, you won't remember any of it, nor will you be able to apply it in your own life. And what's the point of that? One of the things that makes us different from almost every other animal is our ability to think and to reason. And if you're not using your brain to think for yourself, what does that make you? Just a herd animal. You go where people tell you to go. You do what people tell you to do. You try to be like everyone else around you. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like a life worth living to me. So remember, you must be careful about what you consume. What you see and hear becomes what you think and believe. And if you don't control your thoughts, someone else certainly will. Peace.